Mario Kart Wii is considered a widely great game for people to enjoy. The tracks on there are amazing to play through and definitely brings a lot of memories of me playing this game and having my issues with the game. I've even made a video comparing Mario Kart Wii and Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. Sadly, Mario Kart Wii lost. Rest in peace. But I think it's about time that I talk about the tracks on an individual basis and see which track is my favorite to play through. For this, I'm simply not going to include any retro tracks and focus mainly on the main tracks of this game. Without further ado, let's quit stalling and get right into the video. Apparently someone as small as Toad can own a factory and have it made into a racing track for Mario characters. Very interesting, I guess. Toad's factory is one hell of a track to race. The course starts you off a little easy. Sure, you start off having to avoid these machines that can legit squish you. However, they're not necessarily impossible to get through. It just requires a bit of good timing and speed. But then you're greeted with all sorts of different obstacles that can get in your way, such as these moving boxes and the switching roads. A bit of a way for the game to let you drive you in this moment. Not gonna lie, I actually kinda like these moving roads. The road just moving you forward nice and smooth. I just love how Nintendo designed this track, as they hadn't done many, if not any, course designs of similarity. I like how on the final lap, the music begins to ramp up the tempo, quick beats making the track seemingly go by quicker. Not too easy, but not too hard either to finish off the Mushroom Cup. Going back to the Mushroom Cup, we have Mushroom Gorge. That's a lot of mushrooms, come to think of it. Let's take one of Mario's favorite foods and make it into a track for Mario Kart Wii. I'm guessing Mario was stoked when he found that Mushroom Gorge was going to be a track in this game. Well, I wouldn't blame him. This course is really fun. You're able to jump off these giant mushrooms and try not to fall at the same time. However, you could say it's a little annoying when you're on the mushrooms and the blue shell always targets you at that time. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but it's happened to me on several occasions, especially on the final lap when you're so close to first place. Only for a blue shell to completely ruin your dreams. Damn you, blue shell! Even with all the mushrooms you jump, it's not to the point where it's completely out of control. For one moment, you have mushrooms to bounce around, but the next moment the track calms down for a bit and you can race in control. That's perhaps what makes Mushroom Gorge fun to race on. It's chaotic, but it knows when to calm down. Mushroom Gorge will majority of the time be a fun track to play on, even if you do get hit by a random blue shell here and there. Maple Treeway, the track that perfectly fits into the fall season. Apart from these darn wigglers that can sometimes block you, the rest of the track is filled with turns and tricks, and it all sticks to its theme. You are driving by small bushes that sometimes release an item, and driving on trees that as well give you several opportunities to do twists and turns. Look at this upcoming part specifically. You have an opportunity here to try and pull as many tricks as possible, and if you're playing with the nunchucks, well, there's a running joke that it looks like you're jacking off. And even after finishing that part, you have two choices of either going to do more tricks on the tree stumps, or going on top of the tree to do one big trick off. That is a smaller thing I like Nintendo doing in these tracks, giving the racers smaller choice on how to navigate your way through a track. Good track, and a track I wouldn't mind racing on again. At some point throughout your life, you've been dragged by somebody, whether it's your family or your friends, to go to a mall. Well, imagine one day, you go to a mall and you see a bunch of people on bikes and carts racing around. Yeah, that'd be kinda odd if I'm honest. But at Coconut Mall, you have this soothing feeling throughout the entire track. Okay, I lied. This track has its chaotic moments. I will say though, the music is the most soothing of this track. This is another example of Nintendo taking something out of our everyday lives and turning it into an amazing track to race on. Majority of the time, you are inside the mall, which gives the player to go and explore. You have escalators, fountains, and plenty of smaller rooms, all of which are part of a mall. I'm just glad this doesn't happen in real life, where you one day walk into a mall, and all of a sudden you see 12 people go-kart racing at like 100 miles an hour. Can you imagine the scenes that actually happened? Yeah, we're probably going to see several bloody accidents before we even see a happy ending. Speaking of accidents, you're as well likely to run into these cars at the end. Depending if you're not careful enough, these cars can cost you a race. I find that no matter what Mario Kart game it is, there's always a snowy course, and this game is no exception. First we have DK Pass on the DS, which was without a doubt a really good course. And now we have DK Summit on the Wii. I really love how in DK Summit, you just straight off the bat launched off a cannon, which looks like a whole new part of the course, when in reality, it's just the top of the summit and you go down from there. Very cool how when going down, you have so many opportunities to do tricks, making the process of going down the summit quite fun if you're into that. There are chances for you to take some shortcuts if you're really good at pulling them off. Now you do have to be careful at the end because there is an area that does slow you down if you don't know how to play the track, but if you like doing tricks, then the last part is something you're gonna love. In general, this track is extremely fun to do tricks, but you still have obstacles within the track to keep in mind. To clear things off, we're not talking about a cape with Koopa on it. No, that would be absolutely stupid. We're talking about this Koopa Cape. Fun track to play and has a few interesting concepts that I like. A track mixed with land and water. While this track starts off fine, I like how you're able to drive into a pipe leading into what is an almost underwater section. Usually water kills you in the game, but Mario Kart Wii has introduced the idea of going underwater a little before we got to Mario Kart 7. In fact, this track was brought back into Mario Kart 7, so not only you can enjoy this track on your console, but as well on the go. And it's not just a track that you can enjoy, but you can as well include the music. The music I think perfectly fits well with the track. Overall, this track is just great to play on, and assuming no sharks break into the underwater section, then you're going to have some fun with this track. I remember covering this particular track on my top 15 Mario Kart 8 tracks, and again on my Thunder Compares video, so now I'm going to talk about this track for a third time. Alright, let's actually make this quick considering I've talked about this track so much. Warriors Gold Mine is another original concept from Nintendo. A concept which I actually enjoyed racing through. This generally feels like you're racing through a cave mine full of gold. Gold that which Wario would probably never let you go nearby, but for this track, let's just say he was generous enough to let this track exist. The course almost feels like this should be on either the Star Cup or even the Special Cup because there are quite a few sharp turns and obstacles that can allow you to fall to your doom quite easily. Very bold that this course is in the Flower Cup to begin with, but oh well. Get your seatbelts ready, kids, because we're about to go into a grumbling volcano. Okay, I'm sorry I had to do that, but let's get back right into the countdown. First off, the music in Gro Volcano has this feel where the starting beat already lets you know that this is going to be a tough track ahead of you, and the excitement will begin to roll. Playing through this track at the same time as hearing the music, you feel connected the whole way through. What I really like about this track is every lap, the course breaks down more and more. The first lap is all good to race through, the second lap you can start to see some grumbling around the ground, and then the third lap is the track beginning to fully break down, and that's where you need to start avoiding those gaps where you can fall off easily. It stands out a lot compared to other tracks where they stay the same, but this course tries to play differently and it really works well. Adds that extra challenge to the track. Or, if you completely wanted to avoid all that, you could attempt to do a glitch that allows you to skip through the entire track, and that will save you a lot of time. And I mean a lot of time. But if you want to feel the full extent of this track, race through the whole track. I'm sure you'll be fine. I love a lot of these Bowser's Castles and these Mario Kart games, and this one is no exception. The overall design of this track feels a lot like an actual castle that we'd see in Mario games. You got lava all over the place, you got thorns blocking your way and doing everything possible to squish you, you have a giant Bowser throwing huge fireballs at you, ready to burn you. I mean, this track for sure isn't a walk in the park, and that's what I like about this course. It really reminds me of the GameCube Bowser's Castle and how the two have similar ideas but pulled off in a different way. However, compared to the GameCube version, I'd probably find this version of Bowser's Castle a little more difficult than Double Dash's version in my opinion. I as well find the GameCube version to be more memorable and likable, but that's a story for another day. But it's time to find out what's my #1 favorite track in this game. Some may have an idea, some may not. It's Luigi Circuit! Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm guessing everyone's expecting this track to be on the list at some point. Well, here it is, finally on the list, so let's quit stalling. Rainbow Road is probably the most fun track to play. Especially when you have a group of people playing on this track with you, it can get quite intense as you have everything that makes a track not only fun, but as well challenging to play on. The track starts off quite simple and, oh my god, this track can be challenging straight off the beginning. For crying out loud, you could literally be pushed off the track within the first few seconds. There are twists and turns where you'll more likely end up falling off at some point. It can be as simple as hitting a railing to getting pushed off by a bunch of players at once. It's not hard to the point where it's unplayable, but it's certainly not a track where you can walk it like it's nothing. The music is perfect. I really love the music they made for the track as it doesn't sound odd like the Mario Kart 8 Rainbow Road. Yeah, sorry Mario Kart 8 I had to call you out for it, but that music just doesn't fit Rainbow Road. Yeah, I'm not sorry that this track was #1 and you were expecting something different than this. I simply come back to Rainbow Road whenever I play a few rounds of Mario Kart Wii. I will admit this is one of the few tracks that's extremely frustrating to time trial without falling, but You put this track on a versus battle, and you are gonna have a lot of fun playing this track.